So, this is the Grimlock88, and I'm here again with, yeah, this. You're probably wondering what the hell this is, and why it's such a clustered mess. Fact is, it's a custom I'm working on. I haven't gotten to painting him yet, if I'm going to paint him. I'm basically going to kind of consider him AutobotX based off of Generation 1, where you had that episode where I think it was Wheeljack had built an Autobot body out of spare parts from, like, broken down pieces. And so with that, Daniel had, was it Daniel? One of the kids had used it to help fight, and unfortunately the kid got hurt in real life, so he had to stay in the body for a bit longer, and he realized, like, power and, like, almost joined the Decepticons and stuff like that. Anyway, point being is, because he's made out of, like, so many different parts, this is kind of like that, It's got this weird propeller. I mean, it spins, but I don't know why you'd want to have it in there. But whatever. I think it looks kind of nice. You have the two guns, and this was from Revenge of the Fallen Ravage. And it's basically, whoa, sorry about that. Basically on a turret, like, for like a can have it more like this. However, this leaves this exposed, like, and shows the head a bit more. So I prefer to keep it down there. Although, I'm thinking if I added some sort of plating, like right here, maybe from like another Lego cover or something, that I could just have this as more like again, a turret or something. But as it stands right now, it's more like a Cybertronian tank, which is kind of cool. You can see the two Gatling guns right here. They're attached to around where the hips are going to be. I keep this minicon here as basically just to hide some of the paneling and keep it more cohesive. Surprisingly enough, it actually works. And I'll end up transforming it anyway, so, I mean, it just stays as a back panel. And you might be wondering, then why not just glue it in? Because it needs to swivel for the robot mode. So, I just have to, work with it, because, hey, perfect size port, actually. It may look a little big, but no, it fits really snugly, like, it ain't going nowhere, which is nice. So you're probably going to want to see it in the robot mode. Oh, and one quick thing. It used to be a Rhinox. I think it was like the Fox Kids repaint. And basically, I end up gluing these in front of the eyes. That way you couldn't really see the eyes, or it made it look more like maybe like a set of lights or something. I wish I had some sort of paneling to cover up the arms a bit more, or maybe just something to plug into the arms to cover it up. But until I can figure out something like that, yeah. Oh, I know, I'm sorry, but another thing, this came from like a Revenge of the Fallen Starscream. I don't even remember owning a Revenge of the Fallen Starscream. So I ended up finding this part of the wing. I was like, YOLO, plug it onto the front after supergluing it, because it was like, I had to have some place to put it. I wanted to make it look a bit more cluster screwy, you know. And so yeah, I'll go ahead and transform them. Okay, so you're gonna want to flip those around because they're still gonna form the legs. Then you actually fold down the heels rather than fold them out. That's one thing I learned that you can do, which kind of helps make the idea of thrusters. Then you fold down the feet, and then he'll stand, usually. Okay, so you might be wondering about this. I kind of made it similar to like a Power Master or Headmaster. So the first style is a really low signature, so I'm guessing that would be like speed. Second dial, very high, so I would guess power, you know, in my opinion. And the last dial actually said, if you can read it really closely, it says 28. So I'd give that like a 28% for intelligence. So that would stay pretty true to the idea of AutobotX, because being made out of spare machine parts and that, he'd be slow, you know, and very powerful. And then depending on who's operating him would depend on the intelligence. And if, you know, you can't, like if it were like, for example, I think during the episode they discussed like the reason why they made AutobotX, and it was for like if there was an Autobot that was injured, they could use AutobotX to continue the fight until his body was repaired. And so, you know, if it was just AutobotX alone somehow, like if they had just turned him on to just operate by himself, I would figure he would have a low intelligence. But to continue transformation, you're gonna spin this around after flipping up the tail. And sometimes that doesn't want to make the full clearance, but that's fine. I'm gonna want to flip these down for now and just flip this arm out. And yeah, they're just kind of scrunched up, but I couldn't think of anything else to do with the arms. You'll flip these pieces down. And then you'll flip this up, and it actually kind of, again, does the idea of the, whoops, the Power Master thing. And yeah, that's a Lego, but I had to fill it in somehow. Bite me. I'm just gonna flip around the head after moving this down, and then I flip those back and give him some shoulder cannons. There he is standing. You can also, I'll flip this out of the way though, you can see, the ball joints on this for some reason don't have the same type of grip, because I think it's different plastic quality. So because of that, sometimes the two guns want to come out of the ball joint, which is, it's fine, they pop right back in. So, it could be worse. One idea, okay? Now, it just seems like to me, in fact, let me be the first to test it right here. Because, if I'm correct, they look like the same size. Kinda. Not really. So, that's not going to work. was going to say, let me just get this back to the way it should be. Ow. Just give me a few minutes, folks. It's, oh. Ow, ow, ow. Yeah, that scar's tender. Is it gonna go back in? Okay, I'm going to try and do this the easy way by taking off. Yeah, you can take it off kind of easily. There it goes. Yeah, that was it good for you? That was stressful. That was probably not the best idea to try testing that in the first place, but, you know. Whoops, that don't go there. That goes here. Okay, I almost have them put back together, because again, a lot of it isn't directly glued into place to keep the, you know, for example, this hinge down here to keep working, I couldn't glue it into place. And technically, I could, rather than having, sometimes it doesn't want to stand, and rather than having it sit like this, I mean, if I took, focus, alright, if I took this off and just swiveled it down, he could, in fact, and you just do not want to cooperate right now, especially in front of the camera. I could have it more like this, but I actually prefer it to be up, just because that gives him his shoulder cannons. So, yeah, that's basically, I guess, AutobotX. You can leave some suggestions on what you might want to add to it to make it a little more cohesive, or to make it a little bit better for either of their modes. You know, hopefully it should be done pretty soon. Maybe add some suggestions for like what you would suggest for the paint scheme to be to make it better. Like whether you would want to go with the continuation of the original paint scheme for Rhinox, or make it more towards this type of paint scheme, like tan and black and silver. because you definitely got the silver, but you would then have to change the red and or rather the maroon and the orange around. So I could see the maroon becoming a tan if I was to do that, and then the orange becoming a black, or reverse it, something like that. And then what would I do with the green Gatling guns? You know. So just leave me some suggestions. That'd be awesome. This is Scream Like 88 signing out.